And we are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. I am the Honorable Lord Ulrich Eisenhand, even though you can't see me. Welcome to the December decision meeting for the Meridier's December internal letter of intent. I have an all-star panel of commenters here, and Lucian.
Oh,
Whoa!
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with the lineup from my left going to my right, and ask everyone to please introduce themselves. We're just going to start with Master Alexander.
I'm Master Alexander Ravenscroft, Stentor Herald Extraordinary. I am mostly a field and court herald, so I just come here to drive people nuts.
Catelyn?
Catelyn Wynn, I am the herald for the Shire of Fourth Castle.
Go forth, Castle.
Kurt Bogner here. I am the Cipher Herald. I'm the internal submissions paperwork monkey.
Let's see here. It's Seraphina, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Seraphina. I'm Ragged Staff Herald. I'm the one of the administrative heralds for the College of Arms.
Right. Lucien.
I'm Lucien d'Artois. Apparently nobody. I'm the Lambent Herald for the Kingdom. And I'm also the Baronial Herald for the Barony of Southdowns.
Master Herveus.
I'm Herveus d'Armand, Morceless Herald. I got the computer geek job.
It's Alan, right?
Yes. I'm Alan Lothan. Yep. Alan Lothan Larson for Jorvik. I'm your Lantern Herald for Education for the Kingdom of Meridiers.
See, I can remember names sometimes.
I dare you to remember the whole thing in one breath.
No.
It's Alan Lothan Larson for Jorvik, right?
I'll be damned.
Yeah, I've seen it written out enough times that once I can remember to associate the name with the face, I can keep it.
Well, remember the beard. That's easier than the rest of me.
All right, Mistress Bronwyn. Oh, and she. I guess Bronwyn just doesn't want to talk to us tonight because
She's like, screw you guys.
Goes up and
She was mad at you for making fun of her protege.
I didn't make fun of her protege. I didn't make fun of Kurt at all.
There, she's back.
No,
I'm sorry.
her senior heraldic protege.
Yeah. I'm sorry. My computer just completely froze up and I had to reboot my browser.
All right, well, it's your turn. So.
Hi, I'm Mr. Barnwin O'Gidwelly, White Antelope Herald Extraordinary. I don't have a fixed job these days. I just come on and annoy people.
And last but not least, Finna.
Hi, I'm Thorfinna Mossdaughter, Finna for short, and I am the Baronial Herald for the Barony of Glenfell, located in Nashville, Tennessee.
All right. So we have a relatively short letter this month. We got 9 submitters on the first letter and a supplemental letter with 1 submission on it. Just to get in the whole or Chinese Dragon resub in a timely fashion. So we're going to go ahead and start off on the big letter.
Torch is watching the live stream.
I believe that Beacon is also going to be watching the live stream.
Well, Beacon's not commenting on the live stream.
Well, she's not in yet. She's still cooking dinner.
Yes.
That's okay.
You mentioned
I have a letter comment before we get to Angarod.
Sorry?
I have a letter comment before we get to Angarod.
Okay.
I have a letter comment. Okay.
Yes.
The comment is, why is it to Mistress Wu Darin Mistress? Wu Yan Darin, because Darin means mistress.
Yes, Darren,
Because we're redundant.
Okay.
Darren is her title, Kurt.
Okay, I'll remember that next time. I will fix my preamble.
This is the reason why everybody should have good English names and good English titles.
Yeah.
That having been said,
Hey, I have an
We can make you regret that.
name. I have an
I have a
Italian
good
name,
English name.
and if I ever get a peerage, Magnificat is the title for. I want to use that. Great Italian title.
Yeah, once they decided what they were going to do with it.
Anyway.
Okay, I've made my titular comment for the evening. Maybe not.
So now we put you on mute.
Sure. That's always effective.
Now we can kick him out of the room and give Beacon a spot.
Beacon's cooking dinner. He won't be back for a while.
All right, so starting off with number 1, Angarat Mershmorkant, new badge. Propel, Sable, and Vert. Impale 3 half-moon knives and a human skeleton maintaining in its right hand an all argent.
has anyone been able to contact her about the marshalling issue? Because it doesn't look like there have been any changes submitted.
This has the appearance of marshalling.
Yeah.
And that blazon does not describe that picture.
No.
Because that blazon would have the knives and the human being and the skeleton all in pale with each other.
Yes.
So you have to say in Fess, impale 3 half-moon knives and a human skeleton. ... Which makes the unity of arrangement issue a little more obvious.
So she has a problem not only with the appearance of marshalling, but also with the unity of arrangement.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now she can solve the marshalling problem by making her line of division complex, but the unity problem is not addressed by that.
That's a major redesign to fix, a
Correct.
skeleton between 3 half-moon knives. That would fix it, but that would fix both problems.
Correct.
For example, or a skeleton and in chief 3 half-moon knives. Again, fixes the problem. Both of them, all of them.
Yeah.
Because
for example.
So the major problem, just asking for rules clarification, the major problem is that we have basically two co-primary charge groups, the knives as one primary charge group and then the skeleton as another primary charge.
Well, it's all one charge group, but you can't describe their arrangement.
Okay.
They're co-primaries, but you can't.
Words.
They're not in a standardly blazonable arrangement for both of them.
And even if they were, it would be marshalling as it stands now.
It's marshalling anyway.
Yeah. So it is probably wisest to simply not try to fix anything here, but just send it back and work with the submitter to come up with something that is registerable, because this isn't close.
Right. Okay.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
There are too many variables. There's too many ways she could fix it.
Right.
That she just probably needs to do.
There isn't any one fix that is very simple.
Nope.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, we can't make a minor change to this and have it submittable. It has to have a major overhaul.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we are going to have to return item number 1.
This happens.
So moving on to item number 2. Here is it Caleb Ingosa?
I think it would be pronounced Kaylee.
It's the Gaelic Angus.
Yeah,
Angusa.
Ingusa. Yeah,
Angusa.
I got that part It's
Kelly.
Yeah,
I think it's Kelly.
Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Resub device. Per Ben Sinister, Prepare and Vert on a book Argent and Fess, a sheaf of arrows, and a horse rampant regarding sable. A horse. I do agree with the comments that we need to blazon it as an open book.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because just a book is by default a closed book, I believe.
I don't believe that there is a default for it. I think it's blazoned as a closed book or as an open book, from what I saw. But we do have to blazon it.
Yeah,
as
but
an
it still
open
needs
book.
to be included in the blazon that it's
Yes.
open.
Yes.
Yeah.
My question is, are we allowed to have two different tertiary charges on a single primary charge?
Yes.
We are, but they're
all in the same charge.
limits. Yeah.
Okay.
That you can't have two charge groups. So the horse couldn't be maintaining something. But
yeah.
No, but you can't have co-tertiaries.
Yeah.
As long as they're in the same charge group, which
Which
these
was
some
the
people
issue we
wait.
had with a device that got returned last month. The resub is further down on this letter with the
Laurel Reed with the
it was the
horse and the sprig.
On
the unicorn
cartouche.
Yeah.
On the cartouche
Right.
maintaining something.
Right.
There's a sprig of rowan or sprig of laurel.
Yeah,
whatever.
A rowan sprig.
Also, just a minor technical issue. When you submit this up to Laurel, make sure that you add the accent mark over the O in the
Oh yeah.
In the patronymic.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that needs to,
That does need to be corrected.
if you don't fix it now, Morceless will catch it in proof pass 1 and it'll get fixed. But better yet is to
But
fix
save
it.
more.
Just damn him anyway.
Or Ragged Staff will catch it when. One of the
Well,
two.
yeah.
Picky,
Well,
picky,
yeah. Okay, go ahead and leave it. No, I'm just kidding.
Like I say, it looks like that it's. I found the name. I typed it in the Google chat. Is what was actually registered.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what came up. Oscar finds the name.
Oscar found it with that spelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the accent mark. So just make sure that gets added to the external letter.
Yes.
And I think we also are going to need to add an artist note to bring the book down more into the center of the field because it's a bit up on the field.
It is.
It definitely crosses the profess line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not.
But just barely.
Well, yeah. And it's filling the space. Yeah, and it could come down a little bit and still fit inside things, but it's drawing big, bold, and bush to fill the space. It doesn't.
Well, at least an artist note, though.
Yeah, maybe an artist note, or maybe you don't say anything and you let the college say things.
Yeah, actually, the name was the first given name was registered as CELLEC. Yeah, ACH. By the way.
ACH rather than AGH.
What's the form in the chat?
Right.
At least mine isn't the only one barking.
All right, so we will here.
I get another peal of thunder here, and you'll think we've got the Hound of the Baskervilles online.
So the resub fixes the issues that were on the original return device. So we are going to go ahead and send that and fix the name on the submission to match what is registered or what's in the system.
What's registered? Yeah. What?
Yes.
What Serafina put in the chat?
All right. Moving on to number 3. Date Jubei Takemitsu. New name and new device. Let's start off with the name. I checked what documents I could, and it looks right. It looks supported by the documentation.
And it has a yobina. That will make Solveig happy.
And I know Kathleen spent a lot of time on this one.
It looks plausible from here. Just
I actually spent more than a year learning more than I ever planned to about Japanese names to make sure that it was plausible before submitting it.
Well, good. I didn't find any conflicts when I was checking. Did anyone else find anything?
No.
All right. So we're going to consider the name good and send it up. Let's move on. Move on to the device. Azure on a plate between two mongooses in pale and in annulo conturni or a cinquefoil gules. Are they mongooses or mongoose?
They are mongooses.
Because English is weird.
Because English is weird.
Consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds.
Somebody made a point that they were blazoned as something else that I had never heard
They
of.
turn up as Mouse of India.
Mouse of India, that was it.
Yes.
I don't think he cares what we call them.
no.
There are parts of me that really hate this in some aspect, but it's because with my blurry vision, this looks a whole lot like an eye with eyelids.
with dangly bits hanging off of them.
Yes.
Yes.
But
Those are eyelashes. They're eyelashes.
Ah, okay.
no, they're not.
No.
Okay,
They're eye boogers.
We actually put this device together probably 9 months ago. It took us that much longer to get the name.
Oh, boy.
yeah.
I have a Japanese name book.
Now, we've got to step from period practice on the mongooses
In
in
annulo.
annulo, but aside from that, I don't see anything else wrong with it stylistically.
Okay. I'm getting a comment from from Beacon.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm watching the stream.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, she points out that it's not good Japanese heraldry, which I think is evident.
Yeah.
I think
But not relevant.
I'm sorry.
But not relevant.
Yeah, this is a Japanese person in a Western court.
Yes.
So I don't think we have the consulting herald here, right?
Correct.
Pick me.
She's not going for a mon in this. This is a lady, correct? Am I being correct?
No.
No, it's a gentleman.
Okay. I apologize. This gentleman's not going for a mon, correct?
No.
He is not.
Okay, so that's okay. Her next comment is that there's no eternal details on the mongoose bodies, and it's a murder noodle.
What?
A murder noodle. I'm quoting.
I have no ability to draw, and I am limited to the graphics I can find online. But if someone can find me a better mongoose, I'm game to change it.
It's got its eye there. It's got.
I can see the eyes and the legs and the tail.
If you zoom in
I
large
mean,
enough,
generally they are like ropes with feet, but so I can see the murder noodle. I can.
I think it's adorable, but I don't know if these have less internal detailing than another distinguishable creature on a device.
Yeah.
So
There's not a whole lot of room for more detail.
There isn't, and
You know.
this particular beastie doesn't have a lot of internal detail.
Oh,
And
I don't know if you can either recognize it as a mongoose or not. And again, if we had a couple of leopards in annulo, I don't know if we would be looking for additional detailing.
mongoose, otter, mink, ferret, they all bear
Weasel.
disturbing resemblance to each other.
I don't see any reason not to send it up and
see what they do with the Eye of Takamatsu.
Treat it like a tool. Throw it against the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
I think this matches our rules, and that we now have the Eye of Takamatsu.
Well,
in
any case, there's nothing sufficiently glaring enough for me to be able to return it at Kingdom.
No.
No.
I don't see anything either.
Deacon is asking what the interest in Mongoose is.
No idea. It was something he threw out there. Said that he wanted to see about. Actually, he came up with the entire design. We just drew it out for him. At one point, it had more yellow things on it that we eliminated. But again, it's been like 9 months. So
did you watch a lot of Rikki Tikki Tavi as a kid? It's a cool story. You should try reading it.
No, I've read it.
I've read it.
See, we're all smart.
And I saw it on TV once. Or
it was in my 4th grade reading book.
Okay. Well, this is what he wanted, though, and
he did it. If he did this without consultation, he actually came up with a pretty good design.
Oh, we did several consultations, and we started off with what looked like a pastoral setting with Chinese leopards and tigers and things. And then one day he was like, I'm just going to try something new, and threw this at me. And I'm like, that will actually work.
That's good.
And so we ran with it. He loves it.
Excellent.
Talking about painting it on his rapier mask.
That'll be interesting.
Don't do it until it passes, please.
Yes.
Emphasize the I-ness of it.
He can do 2 of them.
One on each side, yeah.
1 or 2, whatever.
He should do 2.
Or he can be a cyclops. And we can call him Kurt.
One on either side of a rapier mask. It would look a bit like a Japanese demon.
But anyway.
All right. I think Serafina, I think I caught that. It said that was it? Sorry, I'm trying to find
Mouse of India.
Trying to pull up my actual chat bar. Said
Sorry.
According to Bruce, mongoose have been blazoned as Mouse of India since 2008. So in that case, I will go ahead and change the blazon to reflect that.
That would be good, yes.
Yeah, one of the commenters mentioned that as well.
Yes, Sigrid.
Yeah.
So it's 2 mice of India, so we do actually get to do our fun things with English.
Mouses. Mouses.
Mice.
Meese.
Drive everyone crazy. Send it up as 2 mouses of India.
We're heralds. We know how English works.
Or even better yet, send it up as Mouse of Indias.
You are evil.
Yes.
We're 2 Mouse of India, so it's Mouse of Indias.
That's why Reef gets paid the big bucks to determine the blazons.
This is the reason why we occasionally want to take English out back and have a very long conversation with them with a very stern cricket bat.
So are we going to send this up?
I think we're going.
Oh yeah.
We're going to go ahead
Payment device. Okay.
I'm gonna alter the blazon, and we're gonna send it up. And if it passes, it passes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's above my pay grade.
Amen.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Moving on to number 4. Asia Williamsdottir.
Yeah.
New name. Desires feminine name. No major changes.
Name looks good to me.
Everything comes out of Gearbossi.
Yep.
Docs check. Construction looks good.
The only question really will are all the pieces out of Landnama book, but that doesn't affect its registrability.
No, it's the entire thing is documented out of Garibassi's.
Right, but that doesn't mean they all
Yeah.
all the pieces came out of the Landnama book in particular, which doesn't matter at this level. It's a send it up.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And they changed the R to S, so that's good.
But that would be a nice point to add. If we did have that information, we could add it to the
Somebody may
documentation.
somebody may well comment on it.
Yeah.
Or I can, if it's not called out, I can predict that Pelican will ask in the conversation at the Pelican meeting, are they both from is it from both parts from Landnama book or not? And somebody will come up with the answer then if it gets that far. So it's not a terribly important point. But if they're both out of Landnama book, there's a good chance it'll get a nice name comment. That's all. That's really all that we're talking about here.
Right.
But it's a thing. So don't worry about it. If it comes up, great. If it doesn't, somebody will deal with it. It's a question.
We've got 8 people on the YouTube side.
Cool.
Cool.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello to the
If you want a job.
interwebs.
So yeah, send that one up.
All right. So yeah, we're going to send that one up.
Okay.
Yay! Woot!
Moving along to number 5. Gwyneth Ravenscar, resub device. Argent, a unicorn rampant Conturni sable, maintaining in a sinister forehoof, a Rowan Sprig popper, slipped Bert, point to base, a Bordeaux engrailed Bert. I think we can simplify that blazon just a little bit.
Yeah.
The redesign definitely addresses the reasons for the return in any case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't need that first vert because the vert's mentioned with the border.
Uh-huh.
And I think we can. Are sprigs of things usually palewise, or is there a default posture for those?
I don't think so, but is there any reason to put slipped?
I was thinking the same thing.
No.
Yeah.
Because
It's a sprig.
It's a sprig.
Right.
So, Argent, a unicorn rampant Conturni sable, maintaining in its sinister forehoof a Rowan Sprig,
Point to base, a Bordeaux engrailed.
point to base, a Bordeaux engrailed Vert.
Yeah.
Because it's so small that you don't really need to differentiate that it's proper because it's this big.
There's not enough of it to.
No, we can cut a lot out of that blazon, shorten it, and simplify it.
Yeah.
Very
The
easily.
stem is practically a single line.
Deacon doesn't think we need to slip it either.
Okay.
Good.
So we're slipping this one past Beacon, right?
Uh-huh.
Nothing slips by Beacon.
Slip sliding away.
Beacon enlightening the world, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Word.
I know lots of words.
All right. So, as far as I can tell from because I did a conflict check before sending off the letter of return, so as I could give recommendations on potential changes you could make. This should be clear conflict, and it definitely fixes the issue that we had in the original return.
Yeah.
Else find a conflict that I missed?
No.
Nope.
All right. In that case, I will trim down that blazon just a little bit to make it a little more concise and send it on up.
Yeah.
Woot!
Excellent.
moving along to number 6. Irina Dashkova. New name and new device. Starting off with the name.
The name looked fine as far as I could determine.
Yeah. Frida, yeah, take Frida's tweaking of the documentation.
Common surname documentation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be useful.
I think it would be kind of important because, you know,
Right.
yeah, you found Arena, but what did it say about Arena? Oh, we found this thing.
Yeah.
And this is the one that you messaged me about from Castle Wars, wasn't it, Kurt?
Yes. Well, we worked on it at Castle Wars.
Yeah, I did the name. He did the device. We have a couple of those. This letter.
Yeah.
Tag team.
Because
Hey, play to your strengths.
Yeah.
I remember digging through the Russian name book, looking and finding Dashkov.
As heavy as everything else they do.
So, but aside from adding the supplemental documentation, name look good.
Looks good to me.
Name's fine.
Yep.
Okay. So the name's good. So the name will go up. Moving on to the device. Argent, a Raven Sable on a Chief. You're on a Chief Azure, an Increscent, Roundel, and Decrescent Ore, and in base a Ford Proper.
Yeah.
And they did the hairy feathers on the Raven. Excellent work.
The things on Chief should be a roundel between an Increscent
An Increscent and a Decrescent.
and it's just a Ford proper.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It's a Ford. It can't be anywhere but in base.
Right.
Right.
So the blazon needs tweaking. Now, as far as the complexity angle goes,
I think giving Sigrith's second comment here, I think that given the precedent that's quoted here from the May 2014 LOAR, that we should be able to count the phases of the moon on the Chief as a single church group.
that being the case, that would take care of that.
Right. And even if you don't, there's the secondary argument that there are period examples of things that surpass that and just this arrangement, not in others, but in only this type of arrangement.
Correct.
Okay, so it's not an SFPP.
No.
It's certainly not automatic.
And the examples that are given in this comment from Laurel are the examples of what is found in period heraldry include a sun between two decrescents or a decrescent between two suns.
Right.
So it's not that much of a stretch to
have an increscent and a decrescent.
No.
have the phases of the moon fall under that category.
Right.
I would think it would technically fly, but that's going to be farther up the food chain, I think.
The complexity count is definitely 9 and is thus
It is 9.
over the notional limit. There may be room for this to fly because it's well balanced, but it might not fly too. But
I don't think that's a judgment that we should be making. I think we should need to send this one up.
Exactly.
This is above my pay grade again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Give the college a chance to chew on it.
Won't be forever, Pennon. Just think about it.
Don't put me under that kind of pressure.
Why not?
It's a lot less complicated than other things I've seen with the lower complexity count.
Yeah.
I kind of think me putting you under pressure is my job.
So are we going to just send that up and let it?
Yeah, we're going to send this up.
Reith make the decision.
It's a good device, and I've seen them pass other devices with really good Unity, even though they really blew the complexity count out of the water.
Yeah, and that's like a general rule of thumb. It's not a hard and fast. If it's got more than 8, it's definitely going to get bounced.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need some sort of guideline to have an idea.
And as pointed out, this one, whether it's over 8 or not, is going to partially depend on how you get to count it.
Oh,
Right.
it is unmistakably 9.
That would be my thought.
It is.
Crescents, roundels, bird, chief, base, and 4 tinctures.
Right.
You know, you can't call a roundel a phase of the moon or a variation on the crescent because it isn't.
Mhm.
The increscent and the decrescent don't count separately because they're both crescents. But
Which would bring it down to 8.
Yeah, it's a 9. It's over the limit. You know, they're
Unless
not guaranteed to return.
Unless both variants on the crescent are considered a crescent.
Well, those don't. We didn't count those separately.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
No. Roundel, crescent, bird, base, chief. That's 5 types of chart.
Oh, okay. That's
Right.
sorry.
And then 4
Point taken.
colors.
Point
Not a
taken.
problem.
All right, so we are going those up. Moving along to number 7. Isabetta de San Marco, new household name and new badge. We're going to start off with the household name, House of the Flying Ducks.
If we registered flying buffaloes, then I see no reason why we wouldn't register flying ducks.
Well,
No, she can't have ducks. This is Meridier's. All the ducks are mine.
But they're not flying.
Slap some cornets on those things, and they all belong to me.
I would suggest.
I'm more interested
I would
in why her
suggest
ducks aren't
a
flying.
different blazon for this.
In cross.
No, let's start at the very beginning. The first word is sable. Vetu argent. In cross 4 ducks. Passant or.
The issue is that it has been, as far as I can tell from what the image that's in front of me, it's been submitted as a fieldless badge.
Right.
It's on a lozenge. Never mind. I'm sorry. On a lozenge sable. My bad. Ignore that.
Well, they need to add fieldless to
Fieldless
the
off
blade.
of the blazon.
Actually, that was exactly the point, is that with it being, if it was the black diamond on a white field, it would be fine.
Well,
But
if
with
it
it
was
being fieldless,
no, if it's a black diamond throughout, you can blazon it as a Vetu field.
Yeah. Yes.
But if you charge a lozenge with more than one charge, then that gets into medium of heraldic display.
Correct.
Whether
You can't even
it
charge
be
a lozenge with 1 charge.
Right.
Right.
Fieldless charge lozenge is not allowed.
So this
Well, yeah.
cannot be. This has to be argent on a lozenge throughout.
No. If it's an argent, if it goes with an argent field, then it'd be sable vetu argent, and you have a field. You don't have a charged lozenge. You can blazon your way out of that problem.
Right.
If you have an argent field there.
But we don't have an argent field.
But we
have
don't.
a fieldless badge.
No.
And so this has to go back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to agree on that one.
Yeah. I can't help wondering why she doesn't have her ducks flying in some kind of a.
And why aren't they in a row?
Rising or something like that.
rising would be good.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And the ducks should all be in a row.
Ducks are never in a row.
No, let the ducks.
Nobody ever has their ducks in a row.
The ducks should be in a V shape, and you know it.
No, that's geese.
Only if they're
That's
migrant.
geese, not
Only if
ducks. Ducks don't do the V thing. Geese do the V
I thought
thing.
ducks and geese did it. Only geese.
Well, you don't normally find huge flocks of ducks.
What about mongoose?
Obviously, you haven't. Well, I was gonna say we have a park locally.
They're
that
all
would
at
disagree
the
with you.
pub having a drink.
Okay, so this one's going to have to go back.
Yeah, we're going to unfortunately have to return the badge.
Yep.
We can't have a charged lozenge as a fieldless badge.
No.
Yep.
And if it passes, she owes me taxes.
On the other hand, the household name is
household name is solid.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Okay.
This will not make Pelican weep.
And I actually have to admit, I like the idea of walking ducks for the House of Flying Duck. I think it's amusing.
It's ironic.
Yeah.
I just noticed Michael Gerard's comment down here. It says, I would warrant that virtually every observer will ask, so how come the ones on your flag are walking? If the intended answer is because they're lazy, the flag is doing the flying for them, we can all groan.
Groan.
That is kind of a Lucian joke.
But I do also have to agree with Gunvor's comment, Oral's comment, that they are in cross, not in annulo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. That's easy.
We have to cross out that ring.
So.
Yeah, because if they were in annulo, their feet would all be towards the center or
towards the outside. Yeah.
Yeah. They'd have.
That's why they're doing that. They're synchronized swimming.
Which is still not flying.
Swimming ducks.
Duck, duck, goose. Okay.
Anyway, we've spent enough time on this. The household name is getting advanced, and the badge is getting returned.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Beacon says her internet connection is spotty, so she may not be able to comment even through me in a bit.
All right. Moving along to number 8. Samuel Gisborne. New name and new device.
That is a great name.
It is a great name.
I like it.
It's a lovely name. He got exactly what he asked for, and then apparently put something else on the paper.
Yeah, this does appear to say 12th English, and the name is 16th century.
Mm-hmm. I told him I could document it to late period. He said as long as he could get that name with that spelling, he was happy. But I wrote the documentation in and then handed him the paper to fill out, and I knew nothing about this 12th English thing that appeared on the paper.
Well, you know, the answer may be that this name is not authentic for 12th century English, but it's a fine late period English name.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Does he really care about authenticity?
I think
might be worthwhile to consult with him over what he meant by that. And
that's something we have to ask the submitter about.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I would have to punt that to y'all because it was a consult table. I don't have his contact information.
No. If you can contact him and sort this out, that's great. If you can't, you send up what you got. But if he isn't really actually interested in the name being tweaked so it's authentic for 12th century English, then
he will have what he actually asked.
you know then it'll just get registered. And if he doesn't care, then let's not get people to put in the effort trying to figure something out that doesn't matter.
So Kurt, is there a legible email address on the form? That folder hasn't appeared in my Dropbox yet, so.
I was just looking at it now. It depends on your definition of legible.
It's as legible as the 12th century English comment.
Yes, that is
Pretty
correct.
much.
Can you go ahead and open up Dropbox to hopefully sync up?
I'll go ahead and kick those over now. Yes.
All right, thank you.
That's why the
I put
generators-
everything's in triangle, so you can.
Okay.
So hopefully, the email that you could send him in Tracker will not bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully. Well, if It's the email that you sent in whenever you first bounce.
Looking in Reaney and Wilson, I can get Samuel back to 1198, which gets it into the 12th century.
However, Gisborne is not.
It only makes it into the. It doesn't quite get into 11 Mumble. It gets back to.
The closest I could find was a de Gisborne, which was dated to 13th century.
Yeah,
His own documentation
1219.
from the 16th century.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can get Gisborne in a different spelling back to the early 1200s.
Yes.
But if he wants this spelling, well, send it up. It's registerable as it sits. I'm quite confident of that, and it just won't be a 12th century name, and we don't care.
I had someone remind me very early when I was learning heraldry that you're not actually registering your persona, you're registering a name.
We don't care what the
because he
persona
wears
is.
12th century armor, he can have a 16th century name.
Yep.
From a completely different culture. To boot. And we don't care. We don't police that.
Nope.
So,
Yep.
yeah. So yeah, the name should go up. Just boom.
Yes.
All right. So moving along to the device. Argent, impale, a popinjay close between two Maltese crosses vert, all between two flaunches sable. Close is the default posture for a popinjay, so we can eliminate that.
Is that actual with the foot raised that way?
Yeah.
Is that actually close though? It looks almost like a bird passant. Or
you can let Reith fix the blazon.
Yeah.
You can how much energy do you want to put into?
Well, that was the picture that he sent me. He handed me a note for me to go ahead and like do the emblazon for him. So I did, and for example, I originally drew it with a puffin as opposed to a popinjay. For some reason, I don't know. I saw puffin instead of popinjay. He's like, so he sent me back a picture of the bird he wanted, and that's what I put up there. So,
well, the wreath can reblazon it if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It's like high 4.
All right.
Let's pass on.
Yeah, I think we can. We'll just take close out of the blazon, and assume that this particular posture is close enough, too close to
be default.
To be default.
And if they want to add another posture later, they can do that.
Yeah.
Reith can tweak the posture as necessary and appropriate, and that's life.
And you should fix the spelling of popinjay. Because
Yes.
it's one word with one P.
I don't know if you can see it, but that's the default right off the picture.
The drawing?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, we found it.
Then we're cool.
Excellent. All right. So we are going to send both of those up.
Yay!
It's a poppin' fresh submission for them. Because they don't know how to make biscuits up there.
All right. Moving along to number 9, the last item on the first letter. Thera Grimsdotter, new name and new device. Let's start off with the name. I'm hoping that we have docs that are not Wikipedia.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm still looking, but I haven't found Thera yet.
I haven't either. I found Theory in Gervasi.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at Gervasi as well.
But I never did find Thera
Oh.
And also I found Thora Grimm's daughter, which is very, very close, but I think it's sufficiently far enough apart to be okay. But
yeah, I know a Thora, so
it's only one letter different.
Apparently, the only thing that I'm finding Thera is a former queen of the East, but that doesn't mean that it is a documentable, passable name under sea law.
I see two different Theras registered this decade.
Are any of them in Oscar?
Yes.
So that we can check what the documentation was.
Exactly.
Harold Ray, Oscar.
Huh. Okay, the one in 2012 is not in Oscar.
Right. Thera Eriksdotter is in Oscar.
Yes, it is.
Right.
And let's see,
Here's
new name.
given name dated to 1404 in Gunnar Knudsen's Danmarks Gamle Personeve.
Steal that line.
Really,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Paste that and stick it in the documentation.
Credit this
Copy
submission, but steal those docs.
That's right.
Yes,
But it's like period. It's 1404.
Yeah.
right. So,
Okay.
so steal that documentation and stick it in with this submission.
All right. So
I mean, okay. There might even be is Thera Grimm's daughter going to fit together? I don't know.
that's the thing.
Right.
Can we find?
Well, if Eric's daughter will fit with Thera, then
Yeah. So
Well, we have to find Grimm. We have to find Grimm post 1100.
That shouldn't be hard.
No.
I've got a book.
Master Alexander has a lot of books.
So the Wikipedia
well, we could
page
look into
that's quoted in the
Wikipedia.
documentation is written in Old English.
You noticed that?
Yep.
So
It would be nice if they had a URL for GGP here.
Pretty sure that's not the original spelling.
Possible.
Yeah, I was looking at there's somebody in that's waiting for information to come back, and it's spelled PAYR and then the AE symbol. I forget how it's pronounced, but but I don't think that's even Norse in itself either. So.
all of the registered Grimm's daughters are Old English from Old Norse from Gearbasi.
Yep.
Okay. The other Thera was submitted as THYRI Trig's daughter, and got.
And it was and that name is documented basically in Gearbasi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, let's see.
It looks like the statement is that the desired spelling here is a Victorian anglicization of an Old Norse name.
Right.
So they got Thera from theory.
Uh-huh.
The reason it's become popular again is The Last Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it might be this one might not fly. It would appear that Thera is not an Old English name. That it's, but it may be registerable as a name. I guess sort of pull together the bits you can find. That try to support the parts and send it up and throw yourself on the mercy of people who know better and have more resources.
Right.
I don't think there's enough uncertainty to justify a return.
No, I have to agree.
It might not. It might not.
I wonder if the submitter would be willing to accept DOHTOR, because I found in Family Search Grimm's Son, but that's English.
Old English.
It changes the name of the, well, it goes to daughter, looks like, for modern English.
Yeah.
I mean, Grimm's Daughter is in Girabasi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Separately, they're fine. The question is, do they work together?
The issue we're running into is that Thera is too late of a name to use with Girabasi.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you might find examples for like in Icelandic, they didn't stop using the name patronymic like that. Well, hell, they still use it if you
They
look
still use it.
book.
Yeah, it's normal. That's standard practice today.
Right. So the name could have easily persisted. The question is can we find an example of it?
Right. And the is that an actual authenticity request or just that 10th century Old English is what they're aiming at?
Yes.
It's just
That's they're trying to get that. That's
it's not an authenticity
not
request.
No.
So basically, if this thing is registerable as it sits, it'll get registered.
Okay.
And maybe some suggestions of how to get closer to 10th century Old English might be offered for the submitter to consider and go, yeah, actually, I'd like that one instead.
Well, Grimm's Daughter would be safe in any case. The problem would be documenting Thera to a much earlier day.
Right.
If you want Old English, it looks like be DOHTOR, not her, because daughter I think is Norse.
It is.
I'm fuzzy on exactly which flavor of daughter is which.
This version is Old Norse. That version is Old English.
It's Old English, yes.
So,
I was just looking at seeing Appendix A.
Yeah, so if she wants Old English, she ought to go with the DOGHT,
DOCHTER.
CHER, yeah.
Yeah. Does the submitter allow all changes? Did they check boxes of doom?
I do not.
Okay.
I mean, I can't. All I can do is ask the question. If
Yeah,
submitter is given flexibility.
they did not check any of the check boxes of doom.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good.
There are
If
no
I was working with
authenticity. There are no authenticity boxes checked. There are no changes boxes checked. So
No changes. I'm sorry. They checked the big box of doom.
No,
No, they did not check
Did
them.
not. Okay. So
Hey, didn't someone say they found Samuel in the 1100s?
I found
I did.
There's
I
a comment
I
under the
did.
previous one where they found Gisborne in 1100 too.
No, I didn't find Gisborne. I found Gisborne.
different
Okay.
spelling.
But I also found Samuel.
In 1198.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me.
I found it in Rennie and Wilson under Samuel. The first entry is simply Samuel 1198.
Yes.
In that spell in the submitted spelling. So
Yes, Samuel's not a problem.
All of the Gisbornes that Bronwyn found are 13th century, not 12th century.
Right.
Mm.
You know, and I was able to get a different spelling of Gisborne back to 1219, but that doesn't quite get into the 12th century.
No, it doesn't.
Maybe somebody can come up with something.
Okay. So it was a different spelling for 1176.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not with Samuel, but
The Samuel 1198 Samuel was the submitted spelling. It's the Gisborne. It's a different spelling to get early, and maybe not as early as he wants. But
yeah, I still wasn't able to find it 11th century or 12th. Sorry.
I was trying to see if I could find the masculine name that the patronym is based on.
Grim.
Post period, and I couldn't find that either.
Yeah.
Grim. Give me 1 second. I could probably find it. It's on page 10 of Gerbasi.
And I'm talking not Old Norse.
Oh, not Old Norse.
Something that would play nice with the 1400 era that we found.
Okay, sorry.
Right. That's all right. We will throw together what we've found so far in documentation and say it's possible. It's possible. Hopefully, you'll have better luck finding out than us.
Given enough time in the books, I might be able to find something, but it would take some time.
Yeah.
So we will tentatively send that one up. Let's move on to the device.
I think this is somewhat evocative of the Epic of Sundiata, but I don't think anybody else knows it. I think that may just be me, and I don't think that's got any. I don't think that will be a problem anywhere.
No.
I'm thinking Yggdrasil when I look at this device.
I'm thinking the same thing in the world. Well, even though the snake is not an annual, I'm thinking the world tree and the serpent.
Right.
And she has a Norse-sounding name. But my main problem with it is the fact that the tree is pushed up against the top of the shield.
But can I at least read off the blazon first before we start?
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Her chevron, azure and sable, and pale, an ash tree eradicated, and a serpent glistened argent. All right, now you can go.
Yggdrasil.
You can eradicate all you want, but that tree needs a hat.
Yes.
It does, and there is plenty of room for it to slide down closer to that snake. It's even drawn like it'll fit right up against it.
And the ash tree is categorized as rounded shape. This has a flat top.
Right.
We don't have a category that's
a white worm.
It's a high and tight.
It's a Dick Tracy villain.
And the blazon needs to say an ash tree eradicated and in base a serpent glistened argent. Because the ash tree goes, you know, is
yes, the serpent does
below,
need to be in base.
Yeah, the snake is a secondary charge in base. If the ash tree were enough smaller that it was completely above the profess line, then you could say in pale.
Yeah, it's not though.
It's not.
It crosses the chevron line and
or crosses the profess line. If you look at the tick marks,
well, that's true.
That's what counts.
But it clearly
But
appears
barely.
to be the
you know, more than just you know, my finger's not on your side of the seat.
And the snake does not cross it, so
Doesn't
it's
come
clearly
close
a
to it.
primary and
Yeah.
secondary.
Personally, if I were drawing it, I'd be tempted to make the tree smaller and do 2 of them on either side of the chevron and a snake in the base.
Well, that would not be a horrible choice at all.
That would actually be probably more.
But that's not what we've
Or
got.
even
It would be much more of a period motif, but it can at least slide down and get the round top on it.
or at least, or possibly even make the snake a little bit smaller to give you room to slide the tree down.
yes.
That
If
would
you're
not be
already making it a secondary charge.
It's already a
You're gonna take it from
secondary. Yeah.
You're going to take it from a serpent to a garter snake?
Yep.
But in any case, it should be. It's probably registrable as it stands. You certainly don't get. You wouldn't want to return it in Kingdom.
No.
No.
I don't know if it's registrable the way that tree is crushed up against the roof.
Okay, which rule is it violating?
That's what I was saying. I don't think there's any rule against it.
I don't.
It's
It's
just
not a good
trouble.
drawing, but we register lots of those.
Bad
Yeah.
drawing is period.
Yeah,
Correct.
but it's identifiable as a tree. It's just I think the problem will be placement, and I think they may return it because this looks like it's beyond a make an artist note. This is too deliberate for it just to be misplaced.
Well,
I love
okay.
something from the blurry vision crowd. That tree is color. It looks like
If you're going to return it, then you want to be able to cite what section of Senna it violates as grounds for the return.
Yeah.
You know, this looks dumb is not a clause in Senna. It's not grounds for return. It's
This makes me twitch is not grounds for return. Okay.
Right now.
I don't know if
If it makes me twitch was grounds
Especially
for
not at the
return,
Kingdom
I could have
level.
returned Terran's badge.
I hope you're returning anything Terran does.
Yeah, really.
just
Like I
about.
say, if it makes me twitch, is it grounds for return? You need to have like half a letter of LOAR returns.
Yeah.
That.
You might consider pending this to let them redraw it because I'm not sure Laurel will take it.
well, yeah, but on what grounds will Laurel not take it?
I'm not sure.
What I don't have any one rule that I can say I can't send this up because it violates this.
Yeah,
The
and-
Point
and-
taken.
and-
Because of that, I am obligated to send it up.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just it. You know, you could not. You
Send
have
it up
control,
with
but
an
you couldn't
artist
find a
note that it's identifiable as a tree, but maybe not as an ash tree.
But it's a tree. That's really all that matters.
Right. There's also
It is.
something else. I'm old enough, and a couple of the others are here, to remember the days when we didn't even pay much attention to the pictures. They were just for general reference. We registered the blazon. The earliest letters didn't even have pictures. They only.
Now we register the blazon, and the emblazon is changeable.
That's the thing. Well, so
No, we
no.
register the emblazon, and the blazon is changeable.
yeah. See,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
we,
my
we,
brain.
Turn around.
I'm
Yeah.
afraid we're in a little danger of becoming a little too much art critic and a little too little herald critic.
Yeah.
The blazon on this is technically correct. We don't like the way.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
It's not. You can't say in pale an ash tree and a serpent because
No.
That makes them co-primary.
Tree is definitely the primary.
It's Chevron, Azure, and Sable, and Ash Tree eradicated, and in base a Serpent, Glistened Argent.
So the blazon needs to be changed regardless.
Right, regardless.
But then, it's readily blazonable as it sits. So,
would it be reproduced as drawn from from that blazon?
Well, not precisely, but
yeah, but close enough.
I don't think somebody would probably have the tree that close to the top.
No, they wouldn't. They would have the tree.
They would definitely have the stake smaller.
They would probably
base
drop the root ball a bit and make the tree more of a round blob.
Yeah.
And Wreath may construe all that as grounds for return on reproducibility.
Yeah.
But I don't think you want to make that. I don't think.
Yeah, that was my question on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is clarity of charge groups. Is it possible that they could be construed as co-primaries?
The way it's depicted,
in that picture, yes.
Actually, blazon, they're trying to make them co-primary.
They can't be co-primary because one of the charges crosses the fest line and the other one does not.
I get that, but what they are trying to do
is
make them co-primary.
Right.
That is what they did, though.
In making them co-primary, but they're trying to make them co-primary.
Okay. We know that as it stands now, neither the blazon nor the emblazon kind of technically work. But if we correct the blazon and use that as the standard, then it is technically correct.
Right.
All right.
I think we're going to have to send it up and
send it up and just make a note to that effect.
Mm-hmm. You could say we have some concerns, but we're sending this up for Wreath to.
Because we could not find a specific rule that it violated.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could make an argument that it violates reproducibility.
But actually, look at the pictures on the March 2017 cover letter, where it has two lines where it barely crossed the fest line and a charge in base, calling it blurry.
Okay.
Now, it could be that it's wrong on that. I could be wrong. March 2017 cover letter.
So are we talking precedent here? March 2017.
Actually, it may. I don't know if we could. I think it may be returnable because it's not period style, which is A1.
Well, yeah, but you got that's more of a broad thing, and you need to be more precise about which letter was it again?
March 2017 cover letter.
I also put a
link it in the chat.
In the chat, yeah.
Okay.
And actually, what we could be saying is the way that image looks. That image actually looks like that tree is issuant from Chief.
Yeah, but a tree issuant, it's the trunk that issues from things, not the top foliage.
Hence my problem. And because this thing is actually up against the edge, which we do not usually see charges at. I mean,
couldn't we ask the submitter if we could move the tree down a little bit and do a redraw, and that would go?
It would take me no time at all to do a redraw.
Right, we could just screw the tree down a little bit. It would be a little rounder at the top. It would solve all the problems.
Yeah, this is not a little touch. This is
over the tick mark. It would be a period depiction. It just needs to scoot down.
And make sure the submitter's okay with that redraw.
Yes.
Right. And if the submitter's okay with it, that's pulling it down just a couple inches to ensure that it isn't this big a deal. When it goes to Wreath, if I was the submitter, I would rather move it down an inch and know it was going to pass than get it back 6 months from now.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I was just looking at that cover letter, and I agree. The figure 7.
Figure 7.
Yeah, it does in fact make the case for why this this particular design is returnable for blurring the distinction between charge groups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I will readily concede that point in light of this new information in front of me.
Yeah, under that one, you can make that argument.
It's you can cite a rule and a basis referencing the cover letter for why this depiction does not appear to be registerable. And so you could
Make the tree bigger.
pull it back and see if the client will countenance a redrawing to more clearly delineate which one is, the grouping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kurt, if you could throw something together.
Already doing it.
All right. Thank you. And then I'll email the submitter and attach. I'm getting a lot of read.
Yeah. You want to try to explain to the submitter, real clearly why this is a problem.
What the issue is with the rules, and give them. I want to give them something to consider. Say, hey, we have this fix. If this is okay with you, we can do this.
Right. It might not hurt to point them to give them a link to that cover letter.
Absolutely.
And point them at figure 7 because yours fits this category.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're talking about.
Yes. That if we can't change it, then we'll have to return it.
Right.
Mhm.
But you'll sit on it. You can, if you could turn it around in your timeline, great. Or if it needs to wait a month to be,
It would take me. Like,
Yeah, I have until January 1st.
Right. It's whether it makes it onto this letter or slides a month to get fixed is neither here nor there. Especially from over here where it's not my circus.
Right.
Yeah, getting it.
I'll say while we're emailing her, we could ask her if she wanted to change the spelling of Grimm's daughter at the same time. Or change the spelling of Thera. Actually, we did it both ways, just so that they match.
Yeah, I would suggest pending her whole submission, just asking these questions and seeing if you can get an answer.
Mm-hmm.
That might not hurt if we get time to do it.
You get her name squared away too.
So we have. So what specifically was it about the surname? Bronwyn, you are putting a lot of static.
It's
She's quoting as Old English, but the format she's using is actually the Old Norse.
right.
And that's the first problem. The second problem is the question is whether the Thyra and the Grimm's daughter are period compatible with each other.
Right. Well, the Old Norse, Old English question is kind of a moot point if we can't use Thera with them.
True. So the likelihood that the Grimm's daughter can be found.
I'm sorry, that's me. It's almost done.
The likelihood that Grimm's daughter can be found in a later period, particularly in, say, Icelandic, is fairly good.
Mm-hmm.
They kept using that format and still use it today.
Right.
If you can find Thyra in a later period, say that 1400 example, and can match it with an Icelandic Grimm's daughter, she could use the Old Norse format.
Right.
Okay. All right, so in that case, we are going to just go ahead and pend those two items from that submitter until we can get some clarification from her
Sounds good.
on how she wants to proceed with that.
Yeah, sounds like probably the best way to do it.
In the end, it might actually save a lot of time with return and redo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So moving along to the one item on the supplemental ILOI, Wu Yun resub badge.
I think you should just return it just because. I have no good reason.
I worked a long time doing this artwork. I am invested in this.
Yes, but how many toes does it have?
I just want to see if Beacon's
okay.
paying attention. I just want to see if Beacon's paying attention. That's all.
I don't think
Beacon's not present, but should we return it because it happens to be the exact badge of the Mongolian, or the Manchu Dynasty's Order of the Dragon?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay.
That sounds pretty cool.
I'm completely making that up, however. Her previous one actually was a conflict with or at least I think it was a possible conflict with a Manchu knightly order.
It was, but it ended up getting bounced for having 2 steps from period practice.
In this case, this case, these are 3-toed dragons, Chinese dragons.
Let me read the blazon right quick before we get started. Fieldless, a Chinese dragon in annulo sable, sustaining in its claws a plate.
Okay.
I think we should kick this back because it says it's sustaining in its claws a plate, but if you notice, all of the claws are in front of the plate.
Well, that's because some of them went in front of the plate and some of them went behind the plate.
No, because it's only got 3 toes. Every single one of those claws on them 3 toes is in front of the plate. If there's one behind and it's got 4 toes, we got to kick it back for that.
So it's gripping the plate with the side of the toes, not the tips of the toes.
If it had some going behind, you would be making the comment that we need to return it because it's in trian aspect.
Yes.
The illusion of 3-dimensional drawing.
He's not wrong.
Well, it already has that. Look at the tail. You can see that there's some tracing on the tail.
And I'd also like to point out that it looks like the dragon is looking at you.
Because you have a guilty conscience, Lucy.
It's giving you side eye, so that's
giving you side eye. Well, then that's appropriate for Wu.
Stink eye.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
By the way, there is a step from period practice for the use of a Chinese dragon.
Yes. She knows that. That was why she was trying to get this through.
And it clears Yolanda's badge for changing the tincture of the dragon and changing the orientation of the dragon and changing I don't know if we get one for changing the maintain charge into a sustain charge because it was vorant of a plate. So it was maintaining a plate in its mouth, and this one is sustaining a plate in its claws. I don't know if we get a difference.
We don't get a difference.
I don't think we don't get a difference, but the size is probably considerably.
And Yolanda has 3 of them.
But we don't need a difference because we have one difference for the charge, and we also have a second difference because it's fieldless.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no difference for where it's holding it.
Okay.
And Yolanda has 3 of them.
No, Yolanda has 1 of them.
Well, number of them in tincture matters.
But
Wu's had 3.
Tincture of the Dragon and Fieldless is 2, and
that does it.
So
Don't listen to me.
Yeah, and based on believe it's the August 2015 cover letter where maintain charges and sustain charges there's no difference for size. It either counts. It either is a maintain charge and counts for difference, or it's not, and it gets returned.
Well, it's not that simple,
question.
but that's sufficient for here.
That was information I was looking for. Not that it really matters in this case.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So we will send this badge up.
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay. So that brings us to the end of the letter. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight and helping me with commentary. Thank you to the 7 people who are watching on YouTube. You're the real MVP. And so our next meeting is going to be tentatively set for Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019.
Mhm.
And we hope to see most, if not all of you there next month. And hopefully I will have my camera fixed so that you can stare at my ugly mug while I'm talking.
And your baby.
Yes, we
My
want to
baby
see
will
the
be in
baby.
bed by then.
You can wake her up. This is important.
I am not waking her.
You're sounding like a father.
How stupid do you think we are? Do we think you are?
Don't answer that question. All right. Good night, everybody. See you next month.
Good night.
Nice.
Good.